So Boeing recently announced a 2021 787 program $3.5 billion fourth quarter loss, and that doesn't include the billions lost on their other aircraft programs. But in a recent call to investors, Chief Financial Officer Brian West stated that one of Boeing's 2022 priorities is restarting the delivery of the defect-plagued Dreamliner. But the 787 program remains clouded in uncertainty because all Dreamliner deliveries for 2021 and into this year have been halted due to a variety of manufacturing quality defects. And Boeing still refuses to specify when 787 deliveries might resume, saying that all depends on the FAA. However, American Airlines Chief Financial Officer Derek Kerr recently said his company expects to start receiving 787s in April. So given all that, you would think this seems like an odd time for Boeing to introduce a new Dreamliner model. But to their credit, Boeing has some forward-thinking engineers who are looking at the big picture. And in that big picture, Boeing needs to stem the hemorrhaging of order losses to Airbus. And given the recent defect problems Airbus is having with their A350 program, Boeing sees an opportunity for a more competitive version of their Dreamliner to take on Airbus's A350 head-on. A new Dreamliner is on the horizon. That's next on Maximus. Greetings everybody, Maximus here. Well, Stan Deal, Boeing's commercial airplane CEO, recently told the Seattle Times that Boeing has begun work on a high gross weight or HGW version of the 787-10, the largest version of the Dreamliner class. Deal said they are designing the new high gross weight version by increasing its payload and range to directly compete with the Airbus A350-900. Over the years, many of Boeing's new aircraft variants were hatched from a specific airline request. The idea for the HGW was also born out of a conversation between Boeing and Air New Zealand, who was looking for a higher maximum takeoff weight version of the 787-10, so that the airline can use the aircraft without cargo and passenger restrictions on its trans-Pacific routes to Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Vancouver. Air New Zealand's ultimate goal is to retire all of its 777 aircraft and simplify its long-haul fleet to a single model, which in theory would be the new 787-10 HGW. Liam News and Analysis, an airline industry online newspaper, said that this new version of the Dreamliner could be a significant game changer in the new era of ultra-long-haul flights. They said an HGW version of the new -10 would allow several trans-Pacific airlines to replace their aging Boeing 777 fleets. For airlines such as Korean Air, United, and Air Canada, the 787 HGW would be a great option to replace their fleet of aging 777-200ERs and 777-200LRs without the need for additional pilot training. It could also specifically be an option for Emirates Airlines. In the past, Emirates President Tim Clark had said that the 787-10's range is too short. That's why Emirates opted for the 787-9 instead. The new version would also allow Emirates to replace part of its 777 fleet without sacrificing cargo capacity. Although Boeing hasn't officially released details of the exact specifications that a 787 HGW would provide, in 2019, analysts at the Liam Group predicted that Boeing would develop a 787-10ER, or extended range version, which is another way of saying high gross weight. At the time, they concluded Boeing could add about 1,000 nautical miles to the advertised range of 6,430 nautical miles. However, Boeing did give Liam an interview earlier last year, and at the time, this is what they shared with them. The 787-9 and 10 with increased high gross weight capabilities would provide more range and payload for both the 787-9 and 10, with complete operational commonality with the existing 787 fleet and family, with no additional empty weight or thrust changes. The 787-10 HGW variant would be a replacement for the 777-200ER, but with the same range with up to 42 extra seats and more than 25% better fuel per seat cost. Additionally, it would have an even larger payload advantage over the A350-900, plus 2% lower trip and 8% lower per seat cost. It would also provide 60 more seats with 20% more cargo capacity, in the same range as the A350-900 with a 17% lower operating cost per seat. Today's 787-9 has an advertised range of 7,565 nautical miles compared to 8,150 nautical miles on the A350-900. Also, the A350-900 is offered in an XLR version, extra long range. That boosts the range to 9,700 nautical miles or 20 hours of flying. But since the official stats for the 787 HGW haven't been released yet, as Liam News put it, a quick back-of-the-envelope calculation by them suggests a 787-9 HGW could add about 750 to 800 nautical miles to its advertised range. But Boeing did provide Liam with some numbers on a 787-9 HGW comparison. A 787-9 HGW would provide 20 more seats and 1,000 more nautical miles than the A350-900, with a 12% lower operating cost per seat. The new variant would also reduce trip costs versus the A350-900 by 8%, with 400 more miles in range. Well, you have to think that in 2022, Boeing is going to get this 787 defect problem figured out and start delivering planes again. And it's also a good sign that airlines haven't lost faith in the Dreamliner and they are still eager to get her back in the air. Plus, it's a good sign that Boeing is still focused on the future and their ongoing battle with Airbus for supremacy of the commercial aviation skies. But as always, now it's your turn to let me know down below. And really quick before we go, I want to give a big Buy Me a Coffee shout out to Strokin' Yolks and Bill Kerr. Thank you so much for your support, but more importantly, thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel. As always, if you would like to help support the channel, the links are in the description below. And on your way out, please be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell. And as always, remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.